Hello guys, it is me, Santtu here. Tonight I want to show you something bit silly, that is how to detect whether you have dark mode enabled on Windows on classic, perfectly normal Windows desktop application. And what I'll show you is based on this page from Microsoft about support for dark and light themes in Win32 apps. In here we have a piece of example code where we detect if the foreground color is bright, and if it is, then we know that we have dark mode enabled according to this page. And according to this page, this is the calculation where you can detect if a color is light. So by running this calculation for the foreground color, we can know if we are on dark mode or not. There's just one problem. We need to use this Windows UI settings class to get it. And if you look at this page for this method from this class, or just about this class, you see a problem. You see it? There's no there's no headers, there's no DLL files, no function signatures or anything. Like, how can you use any of this stuff? Like, this doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, how do you call this? How can you access any of this? Like, it makes no sense. Like, if you go to the page for like create file W, it will tell you like, oh, this is located in kernel 32, the DLL, and it's like in Windows.8 header. It's defined there and it's implemented in that DLL. So it makes sense, but this doesn't. Like, this is just missing everything. So how can you call this? How could you possibly access something like this? Well, it's bad, but it can be done. And most importantly, it can be done without using any undocumented internal APIs. It can be done perfectly fine using only public documented interfaces. And I'll show you how. I made this sample program to demonstrate this, where I have a function that detects if we have dark mode enabled. So let's step through the code. Basically have one main function here that does everything. Just some helper stuff for, well, one helper function for translating errors between different types of errors, because some Windows APIs use different kinds of errors. So we'll just translate everything to be the same. But yeah, let's just set up some variables, and yeah, here we actually start doing anything. At first, we need to like initialize COM environment, like for accessing the Windows runtime stuff, that has this weird class that I showed you earlier. And to initialize the COM environment for that, we'll need to load this COM base DLL that, I mean, you could statically link it, but you know, just do it dynamically. Because if you're running on like a older version of Windows, this might not be present, and then your application will just crash when you try to launch it, and that would be pretty bad. So much better behavior is just, you know, this function doesn't run, but everything else works just fine on your application. That's far better. That's why I'm doing this on runtime. So we get this COM base, and we get these interfaces, well, these functions from there for accessing the basic COM interfaces. These are documented to be from there. Well, over time, some of the documentation has been lost from Microsoft website, but you know how it is. Anyway, first we initialized the COM environment for this thread, and there's one case that might happen is that the environment's already initialized. In that case, we get this error here, and we'll just ignore it because it's already initialized. No need to reinitialize it. And then we'll make a weird like COM string. I don't know why COM has like its own type of strings, but it's okay. But yeah, this is, you know, if you remember, this was the class that we wanted to use. So we make a string, that's just the class name, and we activate the interface to get the instance for this class. As you see, we got a pointer, it's this windows.ui.dll or something inside of it, where our class implementation is. And then we'll query this interface from it. And I don't know, like, I'm not gonna explain you how COM objects work, but basically in the base of the pointer of like a COM thingy that you get is this like vtable pointer for all the functions, methods of the class. And we have one of these like base COM interfaces that's available on basically everything. Actually, let me see. Yeah, it's everything. I've kind of had like a little bit of forgoer moment there. But yeah, you can like query like interface from any like a vtable to ask for any interface from it. And we are asking this UI settings 3 interface. It's like a newer version of this thing. Well, I mean, it inherits from this, so it's, well, okay, now never mind. I'm not gonna explain you COM inheritance because it's kind of weird. But we need this newer interface from this because this is where the actual method that we want to call is located. And to query the interface, oh yeah, we will give it like the ID here. This is not like any kind of secret Microsoft thingy either. This is like, you know, if you compile this with all the weird like CX extensions and like that weird shit, like the compiler will just insert this like thing into your binary anyway. So it's like, you know, you can write it there yourself. There's no difference there. And now that we have the interface, we'll just call the get the color, and we are getting the foreground color. And we get the color components from it. We do the same calculation, from the website, from the page here, and foreground color is light, so we are in dark mode. Now let's just do some cleanup. Tell the color that we are in dark mode. Dark mode is enabled. That's how you do it. Well, I don't know what to say. It's really silly how it's done, but that's how you do it. It's perfectly doable. No like any weird internal Microsoft APIs, just public APIs in like perfectly classic normal Windows desktop application like that will run on like fucking Windows ancient version. But yeah. Well, here we go. Now we can like, well, there's one kind of weird thing. Like, I didn't manage to find the Windows headers where these are documented. Like, there's usually some like headers that have like these COM vtables because you need to be able to call the stuff from these vtables. So in order to do it, you need to define these somewhere. But I didn't manage to find these, so I just wrote them here manually. I mean, these are not like some secret internal things either. Like, if you use the weird compiler extensions and like then disassemble the program, what you'll find is this. So Microsoft, like the compiler, will insert these here anyway even if you don't write them yourself. So it doesn't make any difference. Makes absolutely no difference. Yeah. Oh, but oh yeah, I forgot. I got like some other definitions from other headers than the Windows one. There's the row API, which is for these weird row things for the Windows runtime environment, and WinString. I think yeah, this was for the weird string stuff here. Where was it here? And inspectable is that's the base COM object that like all the Windows runtime stuff is inherited from. Yeah, and of course there's the normal Windows header for all of your most Windows stuff. Oh, but yeah, that's it. Like that's how you detect dark mode on Windows. Classic Windows 2 desktop application. No internal APIs, only public APIs used. So yeah, see you later.